I was interested in Mike Vick's comments about Andy Reid. I heard them when I watched the full 84-minute interview of Vick on the Tyreek Hill podcast, It Needed to Be Said. I was focused on other things he said, though, and I didn't make a note to circle back to it. I saw yesterday that USA Today, one of their team-specific sites, had written about it. So instead of pulling up the podcast and finding the quote and pretending I got no assist whatsoever from whoever it was at USA Today that wrote the story, I ran the link to it. That's the right thing to do. And I say that because plenty of times I see where people will see our stories on something where there's quotes from a podcast, and it happened with this Vic thing. And it may have been somebody from USA Today. Just copies and pastes our typing up of the quote. Doesn't even go look at it. Just copies and pastes our typing up of the quote. And that's fine. Look, he said what he said. But if you got it from us, you know, help somebody out here. Throw a little link like we did to the USA Today site. But Vic suggested that Andy Reid might be the greatest coach of all time. And at first blush, you look at it and say, nah, Andy Reid's still got more work to do. I don't know how much more work he has to do, though. And when you look at where he is and where his team is, and where you look at where Bill Belichick is and where his team is, man, Andy Reid may not be there yet, but Andy Reid may catch him. First of all, Andy Reid's 6 years younger. That's 6 football seasons. That's another 60 wins. You give him another 60 wins, he's ahead of where Bill Belichick is right now in regular season victories. And 60, that's 10-7. Do we really think the Chiefs are going to be 10-7, 10-7, 10-7? And you get to the postseason, you got Patrick Mahomes. He's only getting better, folks. He's on the front end of his prime. How long is his prime going to last? Since Bill Belichick last won a Super Bowl, since Bill Belichick last won a postseason game, Andy Reid has been to the Super Bowl 3 times. Think about that. Bill Belichick won Super Bowl 53. He hasn't won a playoff game since then. Andy Reid won Super Bowl 54, went to Super Bowl 55, won Super Bowl 57. Should have gone to Super Bowl 56 and maybe would have won Super Bowl 56. They were up big over the Bengals in the first half and blew it. That doesn't exactly help Reid's case, but the body of work does, and where it's going. That's the key. Where's this going? Regardless of where we are right now. And you could argue, when you look at Brady, Belichick, 19 years together, Belichick benefiting from the greatest quarterback of all time for 19 years. Reid has had a bunch of guys play quarterback, and he's made a bunch of guys into better quarterbacks. And hey, between the two, if I have a quarterback I need to develop, it's a no-brainer. I'm taking Reid over Belichick. If I have a team that I need to coach, okay, Belichick. But if I have a quarterback I need to develop, give me Reid. And it may be, by the time it's all said and done, if I have a team to coach, it may be Reid. Mahomes trying to catch Brady gets so much of our focus. Can he get to 7? It should be 6 versus 3, not 7 versus 2, because Mahomes had a chance to beat Brady in Super Bowl 55, and it just made the gap even bigger. The gap's already smaller between Belichick and Reid. Belichick's got 6, and don't tell me he's got 8. Assistant coach Super Bowl rings don't count for something like this. It's how many you've won as the head coach. Belichick has 6. Reid has 2. And he's gotten them in the last 4 seasons. And he's been to 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls. And he's got the best quarterback right now in the NFL, and possibly the guy who will become the GOAT. And really, if Mahomes wins enough to become the GOAT, he's taken Reid with him if Reid stays. And why would Reid go? There was something that bubbled up before this most recent Super Bowl about the possibility of Reid doing the Bill Walsh win and walk off into the sunset. Why would Reid do it? As long as he's healthy enough to coach, and he's 65. Why would you walk away from a guy that is going to carry you to the upper room of the Hall of Fame? He's already in the Deion Sanders upper room of the Hall of Fame. Mahomes, on his way potentially to the top of the mountain, is going to take Reid there. And there's a chance that when it's all said and done, Mahomes isn't the GOAT, but Reid is. That's possible. I mean, if they get to 6, if that's how many they win over the course of their mutual time with the Chiefs, Reid ties Belichick and probably has as many, if not more, wins than Belichick. Who knows? But if Reid gets to 6, Mahomes still not the GOAT. Reid may be the GOAT, co-GOAT at worst. I hadn't thought of that until Vic said what he said. And again, we're so caught up in players chasing other players for legacies. Hadn't thought about Reid. I mean, we just assumed that Belichick's one of the greatest of all time, and maybe he is. But, here's the thing. Once Brady leaves and reality sets in, and you make a career defensive coach your offensive coordinator. Now, look, Reid once made a career offensive line coach his defensive coordinator. It didn't work out very well. But the gap is closer than I think people would admit. And it's only going to get closer if the Patriots don't snap out of it and if the Chiefs keep doing what the Chiefs have been doing. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.